Hi everyone, welcome to the new session of our SAP Mobility Development Podcast. This is Kevin Hu from Shanghai. So today we're going to build a HelloWorld gateway service. It's an odata channel method or approach. So you're going to see how to build a gateway service from scratch. It is different from our previous sessions as we build the service with different tools. In the OData channel approach, our developers can build our gateway services with the most flexibility, and you can define or your data models or your associations and entity types fully using ABAP language. So it's going to be a primary tool approach for the ABAP developers. And okay, let's begin. So here, let's see, in SE80 we have the class interface. Let's choose it, and we can build the new class called NPC. Let's say NPC HelloWorld Kevin Hu. Click yes, and accept the name of the class. So for description, let's say NPC HelloWorld. Test. Save it. It's a local object here. And this is the screen that you should be very familiar with if you are a ABAP developer. And here we can see we have the class builder opened. So let's see, we have two options. One is you can do coding yourself, or you can use the form-based GUI to do the coding for you. And here we have to define the superclass of our NPC. I've copied the sample code here, so I have to format it. It should take some time. We have defined the type as it is an HelloWorld demo, so the type name is not very meaningful. And also we have to save it occasionally to prevent my network lost. So here we have what have been doing here is we define the types, which will works as the primary data model of our gateway service. So in the define method, what we have to do is to define the logic of the data model. So here we can define the references of the types here. We have the entity type, we have the properties, and we create an entity type called HelloWorld. And we also append the attributes here. As you can see, we have the ID and text here as the attributes of the entity type. And it's very simple. Create entity type, create property, and set the property as the key. It is the property name is ID, and here we're gonna find the structure. Here we're gonna rename the NPC name of it. Let's save it, and the other class we can define is the DPC, which is the data provider classes, which is the another critical component of the gateway service. And here we can define the name of it. Let's say some HelloWorld DPC. The public. I know. Okay, sure. Local object. Here we can see we have the DPC classes opened up. It's also some public session we have to define superclass. Let's copy the sample code here. We have two methods to define or redefine in the data provider classes. This is the get entity and the get entity set. In the real world, you may define several other methods, but here in this demonstration we only define these two methods here, which you can see the quick effect of what we are going on here, what we are doing here. So let's copy and paste here. This one is the class implementation, the get entity set. So this method will return the entity sets, also known as the collection data from the backend system. So here, let's see what we have seen. We have those kind of things here defined. And this is the a simple classes. It returns if returns two values based on the ID that is provided. And also we need to create or redefine the get entity method. What we can see, let's try doing it as simple as possible. And let's see, it's also simple method. So it also will return a short text message based on the ID. So we have to take some time to do the reformat. To make it easier to use and read. So here we can see from this screen. So when the ID is others, it will throw out an exception. So you can see we can do some exception handling here. In the end, we copied the data. Okay, click save, and let's see. So we finished the class definitions. Oh, here I forget. I have to rename the NPC to my own name. There's my name in this NPC class, so I'll never forget it. Let's first check if there's something wrong here. Okay, let's do a generation and activate the classes. Here we have some errors. Let's check what's going on here. So let's see, we have get entity, the type is unknown. Oh, sorry, I forgot to define the types here. So let's make it editable and activate the NPC. See, we have what errors do we have? Define has already been declared. Okay, so here, and you need to fix it. Maybe there's something wrong related to the copy paste. Next time I better do it manually. So here we have seen public session. It's already defined. Okay, we have activated this NPC. Let's create a new session. And in SPRO, for the IMG here, in Netweaver, let's say gateway service enablement. Backend odata channel. See, I always cannot remember the structures of the T code. Just a minute. I think I probably get this. The maintain model, I can see the documentations here. Let's see, let's maintain the model. Let's create a new technical model name. Sorry, I just been stuck, and let's see, checked if there's some technical names before. Just a moment. So I think I need to create say HelloWorld. Let's name it HelloWorld MDL Kevin. The model version is 1. Let's create a model. The NPC class, let's choose the NPC class that we have just created. Cannot remember it, so I do a quick search. NPC, let's choose it and add a description. So let's put it into a local object. So the model has been saved. Technical model name we have been created, and next one, let's maintain the service. Let's create a technical service. This service will be exposed to the outside world. So let's choose a friendly name. data provider classes. So it's let's search it. It's a data provider class. Let's choose the DPC. Click OK, and let's create. Sorry, let's do a description here. It's a local object. Do the assign model and assign the NPC to it. Sorry, assign the technical name of the data model. Okay, the service has been created successfully. Here we have, this is what we get in the status bar, and let's move on. Let's go back to this screen. Let's maintain and activate the service. This is tool that we can register the service into the system and monitor the status of the gateway service here. See from the technical service names here, we have let's do a search. Let's choose the service name here. As you can also see, the external service name has been populated here. Let's choose it, and let's add the service into the service catalog. Here you can choose different mode. So for standard mode, it is basically an odata, purely odata model. Mode for the gateway services below SP02. You can choose the compatible mode. And here, let's see. Let's choose local object. So sometimes if you have already created some front-end applications based on the gateway SP02, maybe you can also choose to generate the service with the compatible mode, and then you do not have to do things in the application level. So here we have I think we have added this service here. See, let's choose the service. display it. I think there's nothing wrong here. And let's go back to this screen. Let's filter in service catalog, and we see this. We double click, and in the lower panel we can see the green light. It's for data standard mode. You can activate or deactivate it, or you can click the Chrome browser to do a test in browser. Okay, we can see we have the service document of it. It is we have the HelloWorld collection here. We can check the HelloWorld collection. For HelloWorld collection, we have 2 entries. Also, in this tool, we can do a validation of the service. Let's do execution. Service name not activate. I don't know why, but let's do a check. Do a check. Let's filter it again. Let's activate. Let's use activate. So let's check it in this ICF. As you can see, it has already been activated. I'm not sure what's going on here, but I think we can come back to this later. And maybe there's some prerequisite of the validation tool. Also, this is the first time that I use this validation tool. It is supposed to be good. Let's try again one more time for the odata SAP. HelloWorld. It says it is active. I'm not sure what is it. Again, forget about this tool. Let's say for collections, if I input an invalid parameter, I can get an error. So the error has been logged here, so you can see the exception text. So let's do some enhancements in the MPC. Let's say we're going to create an annotation. A custom annotation can be useful in several scenarios where you need to define some additional informations besides the odata protocol. So you can see we can define an annotation here. This time I would rather input it manually, so it could be very clear. Say annotation namespace is SAP, and I can add an annotation. Example key example, and the value is true. It's a pretty simple annotation. And for the property, I can also add an semantic SP02. So let's do a generation here. Simple. Here's some errors. It related to the annotation type. So I need to define the annotation type here. Just 1 minute. Says the annotation type is unknown, so you need to define the type before in the method. Here we have already added the annotation type. So let's see what we have. Yes, for this service document, Yes, you can see we have a annotation here. Let's check the metadata, and also we have the semantics and the annotations here added, uh, which maybe you can use later on in your front-end and application, so you can use those additional informations to do some different things. So let's do a recap of this session. So in SE80 you can create your MPC and DPC and generate, also you can register your service, and then you can expose your backend data into the front-end with OData protocol via SAP Netweaver gateway. So in SE80, the ABAP developers can use ABAP language to do flexible coding. Since the latest version of Gateway, we have introduced another new tool called Gateway Service Builder, which can be a little bit easier to create a gateway service apart from the SE80. So, but what I mean is that in this SE80, after you have go through the whole development sessions, you can have a clear view of the components and what consists of a gateway service. So it could be much more helpful for the some advanced development to understand the whole structure and get a big picture of the gateway system. Okay, so thanks for watching. Bye.